Welcome to today's episode, where we share heartbreaking news about extraordinary American legends who passed away in the last 24 hours on May 22, 2025. Join us as we pay tribute to their remarkable lives and legacies that shaped our world. We honor their contributions with heavy hearts. If this resonates with you, please like, support, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt content. Share your thoughts in the comments below as we remember these icons together. Thank you for being here. Michael B. Tretow. Who's the hidden genius behind ABBA's infectious sound, the one who turned catchy melodies into global anthems? It's not Björn, Benny, Agnetha, or Frida. It's a name you might not know, but you've definitely heard his work. Michael B. Tretow, the Swedish sound engineer who died in 2025 at 80, was the secret weapon that made ABBA unstoppable. His story isn't just about studio magic, it's about a kid with a dream, relentless hustle, and a legacy that still echoes today. Let's dive into the life of the man who shaped one of the biggest bands ever. Picture a teenage Michael Tretow, holed up in his room in 1950 Sweden, fiddling with a clunky tape recorder. He wasn't just listening to music, he was obsessed with making it. Singing, playing every instrument, and splicing tapes together, he tried to craft songs all by himself. The results? Let's just say they weren't chart toppers. His early recordings were rough, full of crackles and mistakes, but they lit a fire in him. That kid, messing around with homemade tracks, was already dreaming bigger than his small Stockholm bedroom could hold. And that drive was about to take him somewhere huge. By the late 1960s, Tretow's passion landed him at Metronome Studio in Stockholm. It wasn't glamorous, think long hours, endless cables, and equipment that broke as often as it worked. But Michael thrived. He wasn't just another sound guy, he was a problem solver, tweaking knobs and testing new setups to get the perfect sound. That's when he caught the attention of two up-and-coming songwriters, Björn Ulvaeus and Benny Andersson. They saw something in him, a spark of creativity that matched their own. What happened next would change music forever. Enter ABBA. In the early 1970s, Tretow became the band's go-to sound engineer, and his work was nothing short of revolutionary. He didn't just record their songs, he sculpted them. Hours in the studio, experimenting with overdubs, layering vocals, and inventing effects, turned tracks like Dancing Queen into pure magic. Fans on X still rave about how he made Agnetha and Frida's voices blend like no one else could. He'd spend all night tweaking a single drum sound just to match Björn and Benny's vision. His secret? A mix of technical skill and fearless experimentation, like using a tape loop to create that iconic Waterloo beat. But there was more to his genius than just hitting record. Rumors have swirled about what went on behind closed doors in those ABBA sessions. Some say Tretow's relentless perfectionism clashed with Björn and Benny's egos. Posts on X hint at heated debates over sound choices, with Michael pushing boundaries while the band wanted control. Nothing's confirmed, but fans speculate he sometimes felt sidelined, his contributions overshadowed by ABBA's fame. One thing's clear, his work was the backbone of their sound, even if the spotlight rarely found him. And what happened after ABBA's breakup would show just how versatile he really was. When ABBA split in the early 1980s, Tretow didn't fade away. He worked with other artists, bringing his studio wizardry to Swedish pop acts, and even composing music for films. But here's the thing, his name never became as big as the stars he worked with. Some fans on X wonder why. Was it his choice to stay low-key, or did the industry overlook him? Either way, he kept creating, pouring his heart into every project. His work on film scores showed a new side of his talent, blending drama and melody in ways that felt distinctly his. But there was one chapter of his career that brought him back to where it all began. In the 1990s, Tretow took on a massive task, remastering ABBA's recordings. This wasn't just a technical job, it was about preserving a legacy. He polished old tracks, making them sound fresh for a new generation. Fans online still buzz about rumors of unreleased ABBA demos he might have worked on during this time. Some claim there are hidden tracks locked away, with Tretow's signature sound waiting to be discovered. Nothing's been proven, but the speculation keeps his legacy alive. His work in those years wasn't just about nostalgia. It was about ensuring ABBA's music would outlive them all. Beyond the studio, Tretow's life had its quiet moments. In 1976, his daughter Sophia was born, a bright spot in his busy world. He kept his personal life private, but those close to him said he was a devoted dad, even as his career demanded long hours. By the time he passed in May 2025, at 80, he'd lived a life full of music, but stayed out of the headlines. Some say he struggled with the toll of a demanding career, though details are scarce. What's certain is that his death sparked a wave of tributes online, with fans and artists alike reflecting on the man who shaped so much of what we hear. Michael B. Tretow wasn't just a sound engineer, he was a visionary who turned raw ideas into timeless hits. His story reminds us that behind every great band, there's someone like him, working in the shadows to make the magic happen. As fans keep digging into ABBA's archives, hoping for unreleased gems, Tretow's influence feels as strong as ever. Next time you hear Mama MIA or Super Trooper, think of the guy who made those songs pop. What other secrets did he leave behind in those studio tapes? Maybe it's time we start listening closer. Mariano Ozores. Was Mariano Ozores the king of Spanish comedy, or a master of cheap laughs? The man who directed nearly 100 films, packing theaters with 90 million viewers, left a mark on Spain's cinema that's as undeniable as it is divisive. Born into a family of actors, Ozores didn't just make movies, he captured the wild, messy spirit of a nation shaking off dictatorship and diving into freedom. His story is one of laughter, scandal, and a relentless drive to entertain, no matter what the critics thought. Let's dive into the life of this cinematic legend, from his humble beginnings to his controversial exit, and see why his films still spark debates today. Mariano Ozores Pukul came into the world in Madrid, 1926, surrounded by grease paint and stage lights. His parents, both actors, ran their own theater company, and young Mariano was thrown into the mix at 17, hauling props, prompting lines, and learning the rhythm of a crowd's laughter. Acting. He tried it, but he was no match for his brothers, Jose Luis and Antonio, who stole the spotlight with ease. So, he stepped back, scribbling scripts for his family and the satirical magazine La Codorniz. It was here, in the grind of theater and ink, that he honed his knack for what made people chuckle. But the stage was just a warm-up, cinema was calling, and it would make him a household name. By the 1950s, Ozores was scripting films like Che, Q Loco, and soon took the director's chair with Las Dos y Media y Veneno in 1959, starring his brothers. His early work leaned into francoist comedy, safe, family-friendly gags that fit the regime's tight censorship. He even dipped into propaganda with Moria en España in 1965, a patriotic jab at a French documentary critical of Franco. But Ozores wasn't just a regime mouthpiece. Films like Operation Secretaria and 40 Degrees in the Shade showed his gift for weaving sharp social commentary into laughs, starring icons like Gracita Morales and Jose Luis López Bosques. These were the days of Landismo, named after Alfredo Landa, whose everyman charm defined Ozores' pre-democratic hits. His films were like mirrors, reflecting the dreams and struggles of Spain's working class. And yet, Something bigger was brewing as Spain's shackles began to loosen. When Franco died in 1975, Spain's cinema exploded with newfound freedom, and Ozores dove headfirst into the destape era. Think cheeky comedies, with just enough skin to thrill audiences fresh out of censorship's grip. He teamed up with the unstoppable duo of Fernando Esteso and Andrés Pajares, churning out hits like Los Bingueros in 1979, which outgrossed The Empire Strikes Back in Spain. Films like Yo Hice Roque 3 and El Liguero Magico packed theaters with their bawdy humor and social satire, poking fun at everything from the property boom to divorce laws. Ozores wasn't just riding a wave, he was shaping it, turning Spain's growing pains into box office gold. But not everyone was laughing. Critics called his work Espanoladas, lowbrow flicks that leaned too hard on stereotypes. Still, with 90 million tickets sold, the public didn't care what the snobs thought. But trouble was lurking just around the corner. In 1993, Ozores tried his hand at TV with El Sexálogo, a comedy series that sparked a firestorm. After just 2 episodes on TVE, it was yanked off the air. Why? Reports claimed it was sexist, with a leaked script fueling outrage from a United Left deputy. Ozores insisted the show had solid viewership, but political pressure, rumored to be intense, shut it down. The series later resurfaced on Antena 3 as La Noche de Ozores, but its late-night slot felt like a quiet burial. Ozores himself pointed fingers at political meddling, a claim echoed by director Luis Garcia Bolonga, who called the cancellation intolerable. While these rumors of backroom deals remain unverified, they cast a shadow over Ozores' later years, leaving fans to wonder if his bold style was too much for a changing Spain. But was this the only time his work stirred up trouble? Despite the El Sexálogo fiasco, Ozores' legacy is a battleground of love and loathing. Critics often dismissed his films as crude, but audiences adored them, flocking to theaters for decades. And not all his work was pure slapstick. His 1964 film La Hora Incognita, a neorealist take on a nuclear threat, earned rare critical praise, as did Dos Chicas de Revista for its sly, subversive take on lesbian themes that dodged Franco's censors. Posts on X have called these films cult classics, proof Ozores could play outside his usual sandbox. Yet, the label of lowbrow stuck, with some arguing his destape flicks cheapened Spanish cinema. Others say he gave voice to a nation finding its freedom. Whatever side you take, his ability to pack theaters with stars like Lena Morgan, Concha Velasco, and Manolo Escobar made him a giant of his era. And then came the recognition he'd waited decades for. In 2016, the Spanish Film Academy finally gave Ozores his due, awarding him and his late brothers the Goya de Honor. At 89, he stood proud, declaring, "I deserve this for 96 films and 90 million viewers." It was a nod to his relentless work ethic, writing scripts after long days on set, churning out up to 6 films a year, like 1982's Cristobal Colon, De Oficio, Descubridor. His death in May 2025, at 98, sparked tributes across Spain, with fans on X calling him the last great exponent of Spanish comedy. His films, from Manolo La Nuit to Pelotazo Nacional, remain part of Spain's cultural fabric, loved or mocked, but never ignored. His autobiography, Respetable Publico, sums it up: he was an audience man first, director second. So, was Mariano Ozores a genius who bottled Spain's soul, or a showman chasing cheap laughs? His 96 films, from gritty social jabs to destape romps, shaped an era and filled seats like few others could. As Spain laughed, cried, and blushed through his lens, he never wavered from his mission to entertain the masses. Drop a comment with your favorite Ozores film, or if you think his work still holds up. And maybe, just maybe, his story makes us wonder, what does it mean to make art for the people? Gloria Montenegro. What happens when a fearless politician takes on a broken system, only to meet a tragic end? Gloria Montenegro, a trailblazer in Peruvian politics, died at 69 under circumstances that have left the nation buzzing with questions. Was her death just a medical tragedy, or does it point to something deeper? Let's uncover the story of a woman who rose from humble roots to shake up Peru's political scene, only to leave us with a mystery that's impossible to ignore. Gloria Montenegro was born in 1956 in La Union, a small town in Huánuco, Peru. Growing up in Chiclayo, she wasn't handed opportunities, she earned them. She studied accounting and administration at Universidad Nacional Pedro Ruiz Gallo, later nabbing a master's degree from ESAN. A public accountant and university professor, Gloria wasn't content with a quiet life. Her ambition pulled her into the rough world of politics, where she'd soon make waves. But what drove this woman to take on such a challenging path? It was her fire for change, a spark that would define her career. By 2006, Gloria was already turning heads in Trujillo. She started as a councilwoman, then climbed to deputy mayor in 2010. When César Acuña, the big name behind Alliance for Progress, stepped down as mayor in 2014 to chase bigger dreams, Gloria stepped up. Becoming mayor of Trujillo wasn't just a job, it was a statement. She was a woman leading in a male-dominated world, tackling local issues with a sharp mind and unyielding resolve. But her time in Trujillo was just the beginning. What was next would take her to the heart of Peru's political arena. In 2016, Gloria won a seat in Congress representing La Libertad. She didn't just sit quietly, she dove into action. As a member of the Permanent Commission and chair of the Social Inclusion and Persons with Disabilities Commission, she pushed for the vulnerable, the overlooked. She traveled to Brussels, Buenos Aires, and Switzerland, representing Peru in high-stakes parliamentary talks. Her voice carried weight, especially on gender equality and social justice. But being a vocal advocate came with a cost. Her bold stances were starting to ruffle feathers. And that's where things got complicated. As Minister of Women and Vulnerable Populations from 2019 to 2020 under President Martín Vizcarra, Gloria doubled down on her feminist ideals. She championed women's rights and protections for Peru's most marginalized. But her fierce support for Vizcarra and gender issues drew sharp criticism. Some called her biased, even accusing her of undermining institutions like the armed forces. One critic later claimed she was a fanatic for her progressive views, a label that stuck in Peru's polarized political scene. Gloria wasn't one to back down, but the attacks were mounting. And soon, a new battle would emerge, one she fought outside the halls of power. In May 2024, Gloria took to X with a scathing post that sent shockwaves. She blasted Peru's salud healthcare system, calling it indignante e inhumano. After waiting a year for a medical appointment, only to be scheduled for September 2025, she didn't hold back. She exposed overpriced supplies, alleged corruption, and even claims of workplace harassment within the system. Her words struck a chord, resonating with countless Peruvians fed up with a crumbling healthcare system. But could this bold move have set the stage for what came next? The timing raises questions that are hard to ignore. Just 1 year later, on May 21, 2025, Gloria Montenegro was gone. At 69, she passed away in Lima, with reports citing neurosurgical complications leading to brain death. The details are murky, no one's saying exactly what surgery or why. Rumors are swirling, though. Was it a routine procedure gone wrong? Or could it tie back to the healthcare system she called out? Some online chatter points to possible medical negligence, though nothing's confirmed. What we do know is that her death hit hard. Tributes poured in from former Prime Minister Ana Jora, César Acuña, and even the Ministry of Women. But the silence around her final days leaves a lingering unease. What really happened to Gloria? Gloria Montenegro's legacy is undeniable. From a small-town girl to a congresswoman, minister, and mayor, she broke barriers and fought for those who couldn't. Her work on gender equality and social inclusion inspired many, but it also made her a target. She walked away from Alliance for Progress when their values clashed with hers, a move that showed her integrity. Yet, her final act, calling out a salad, might be her most haunting. Did her fight for justice come at a cost? The questions surrounding her death are as gripping as her life story. So, what's the real story behind Gloria Montenegro's passing? Was it just a tragic medical outcome, or does it expose deeper cracks in Peru's system? Her life was a testament to standing up, speaking out, and never backing down. But the mystery of her final days leaves us wondering, did she uncover something too big? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happened to Gloria? And if her story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories that keep you thinking long after the video ends.